Ethereal synchronicity 444. What we say in your back live and direct. Coming at you. So why we're here? It's an astrology report. But you know, gotta have a bit of fun in life. Gotta enjoy yourself. But it's a full moon. It's an eclipse. This picture on the screen is a representation of the planets in the sky in an astrologer's viewpoint. So it's not very literal. It's more of a, how can I say, transposed version. Basically just mean, you know, shrunk down format. So it's easy to read. So anyway, how is everybody? Is everybody good? I'm guessing they're good enough if they're clocking me here. So what's important about this full moon, because that's why you're probably thinking, oh no, this eclipse, oh no, oh dangerous, oh no. Told you, gonna have a bit of fun, humour. Can't take it all too seriously, but at the same time, obviously, it could be very deadly serious. Welcome to me, welcome to life. So actually reminds me, to be fair with you, the strangeness of it all. I was thinking, like, obviously there's so many different astrologers, different ways to kind of do this, so to speak. I was thinking, what's my purpose really for doing this? And it became apparent that obviously not everybody walks the same path in life, and certain people can connect with other people better than, you know, maybe another person. Basically, like, you know, how we get on together, how we mesh, how we communicate, how we think, our ideas, which is really interesting because this pertains to Mercury, really, actually, and Jupiter, if you think about the belief system, actually. But the ideas and how you communicate your thought process, Mercury. Why is that really interesting? Mercury is retrograde at 3 degrees in Gemini. I'll just circle that here. And where I was just over there, as it's a moving facet, is the 3 degrees in Aquarius on what you see says MC. MC stands for midheaven, medium coli in the traditional sense. AS is short for ascendant, DS descendant, IC imum coli, basically home, the gaff, the 4th house. 10th house, the public, the world. Saturn in the 10th house at the moment, we mean business. Yeah, we're gonna do this. On the ascendant right now, it's like 9-10 degrees. We're talking about Aldebaran. On the descendant, you've got Antares, and these are fixed royal stars of the, what do you say, watcher of the east and the west, which is interesting actually, because this is exactly on point as synchronicity should have it, even 3 minutes in. Oh, power. So on what we call the east side of the chart, which would look west to everybody, but it's a picture of the sky literally on the ground. So the east side, we've got the watcher of the east, it's the Archangel Michael, of Aldebaran fame on the ascendant, and on the descendant over here you would have Antares or Antares or Aries. Basically, yeah, it's got Aries in the title and Ant at the beginning. So Antares. In fact, you know what? Shout out to Dolo, because he's the Antares guy, innit? Antares moon or something like that. So yeah, back to the ground. Well, it's hard to stay on the ground. You've got Mars and you've got Neptune coming up together, and that's kind of like a dreamy energy, a creative energy. And basically why I'm channeling my energy into making this content here, and it just happens to be on the full moon eclipse. But as you can see, there's basically clusters of planets on the screen together, and what that symbolizes in layman's terms is what we call conjunctions, but basically planets having conversations where the energies are mixing and meeting and joining. Now, is it harmonious? Depends on the planets involved, you know. It's like, I don't know, call it like a family reunion, so to speak. You know, you got the brothers. Mercury, strangely enough, represents the brothers. The brothers could be speaking to each other, which is one level of communication, versus maybe the aunts speaking with, I don't know, the nephews and the nieces, which is another level of conversation, which would represent another planet. Um, I don't know, what should be an ant could be a Venus planet, maybe. The rich ant. And then, like, say you're speaking to like a grandparent kind of figure, maybe. And I mean, the astrologers know where I'm going with this, but just for the purpose of the layman and everybody just joining, like the stern, like grandparent or father figure would be Saturn, and maybe like your more generous, maybe happy-go-lucky elder, because it might not be a grandparent, could be an uncle, an elder of any shape or form or fashion. But that person that represents that could be represented by Jupiter. So these planets basically have connections in so many ways, and that's why I was talking about how everybody does astrology is quite unique. Or I may have mentioned that before, but I'm going to mention it again if I didn't say it in this particular take. So yeah, I'm just literally doing this off the cuff and finding great pleasure in what I'm seeing, which means the synchronicity is with me and I'm meant to be doing. But I mean, even the watch just beat then. You gotta take every signal and sign. Not that, you know, everything means anything and everything, but there's a lot of planets here in the 12th house. So let's just show you this 12 on the screen. 12th house, actually Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces, which is this sign here, which is intercepted actually. You can't see the symbol there, but this small little blue symbol, and this 12th house have strong connections, and those connections, like I say, are to do with me being on a camera, making content, projecting to a microphone, and giving you a story in picture of how you could translate these planets. So yeah, it's kind of like the movie way of doing it, the story, the movie, the storytelling, so the script. So let's give you the astrology script of what's going on, since we've had the Watcher in the east and the Watcher in the west, the royal fixed stars, and then at the top of the screen, well, the top of the sky I should say, not the screen, but specifically was around what, 2-3 degrees, which you have Altair, which is a fixed star known for its boldness. Yeah, so if ever there was a time to be bold and really go with it, doing it right now, doing it, baby. Like I told you, man, you're gonna have a laugh, man. You can't like take this too seriously. I say that because Mercury's retrograde, and hopefully like this like comes off, because the reality is everyone talks about the technological difficulties that they have with their computers, phones, and all the things, laptops, whatever, you know, basically like electronics. Mercury deals with communication, so especially the electronics that deal with that, so, you know, emails, mail, physical mail, phone calls, text messages. As complicated and as confusing as communication can get at times, when Mercury does go into what we know as retrograde, reverse kind of motion, it's not actually going reverse, but it's a speed thing, yeah. But retrograde seasons basically create a point where you have to readjust, maybe possibly slow down, and yeah, reset. Anything with basically reprogram, repattern, however you want to put it. I always use the Doppler effect when I describe it to people. And I actually looked at Doppler's chart and seeing how it's connected to my own. And it's like, okay, so I get this guy or that particular part of the effect. And basically, when you have sound, because that's one thing that I deal with, of say a siren, just so you get it, and it's coming towards you at say 30 miles an hour, and it's literally going past you at the same speed. So as it comes towards you, you hear the siren at what we'd say an average fast speed, and then the further away that it goes away from you in distance, basically because the sound waves having to travel further, it's stretching a lot farther, it sounds like it's going slower. So this is in relation to how Mercury operates. When it's going direct, it's like it's coming towards you at the regular rate of knots, Nino, 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 and then as it gets further into the distance, the sound becomes elongated, stretched, Nino, Nino, Nino. So I kind of always relate Mercury retrograde to that more stretched out Nino sound, right? So you still hear it, but you don't hear it the same. And this is exactly how I relate to when people mishear or missay or mispronounce more often than not things that they were thinking or trying to express. So yeah, I just basically tried to describe how I see Mercury retrograde and how I relate it very, how can I say, practically, physically, to a theory and understanding that people hopefully should get. So I think I mentioned Mars and Neptune being together and not too far off Jupiter. So if you can see under, Jupiter is at 0 degrees, but Mars and Neptune are at 23 and 24 in the previous sign, which have blue markers. So this is Pisces, that's Aries. But together, basically, you have kind of what feels like a bit of a, well, how can I say, energy, Mars, which you kind of, energy increase, Jupiter. So Mars and Jupiter are coming together, but Neptune is in the middle, and that kind of like disperses and confuses energy, essentially. So people basically may have felt tired, may have felt drained, just to put it straightforwardly. That's one reaction to it. But and then doing things behind closed doors could be another thing, because Mars is the doing and Neptune is kind of the concealing of maybe the doing. Theatre is actually one place. I actually was at I went to see something, so that's one way. Neptune, so a stage show. So Neptune could figure there maybe in that energy, that somebody like being on stage and you being part of the audience, or even the performer actually, like it's part of the whole wider theme and scheme. So I'm just talking about ways where we're channeling, or how I'm channeling this particular energy into a video, but how it also may affect people in their actual reality and how it may translate basically into what you're doing. But the favourite one that I always like to relate it to, because it's very much a spiritual planet. So you got to mind out for addiction, overdoing it, drinking, this kind of thing. But dancing, I always got to say the dancing. And everyone's talking about how dancing's kind of meditative. Yeah, it's like you kind of have like it's all like when you really get into your groove and you go and you're not like, kind of like think like, when you think about other people basically, and you're just doing it for your own self and enjoyment, it is kind of really like a freeing exercise with the body, loosening up kind of the joints and the limb. Like, you really feel it if you like to dance. I've actually got a friend that always talks about his dancing days, so if you get to see this video, you got to mention my mate. Yeah, that's definitely something with this particular energy. Oh my days, Jupiter has just left the 0 degrees of Aries. It's now onto the 1st degree. So Jupiter's, I won't say trickling, it's actually blasted through Pisces in 2022. It dipped into Pisces last year, and that was probably when the lockdowns eased up for some people, and then it went back into Aquarius. This was in 2021, and then 2022 it just flew back into Pisces, and within a very short space of time, relatively speaking, for what I think Jupiter transits are, basically meaning this motion through a sign, it's flown right through Pisces and it's into Aries now. So this is a significant thing, because Jupiter takes roughly about a year through a sign on average, and it's all in relation to a bit more geeky stuff, but basically, yeah, because it spent a few months in there last year in 2021. It's like that kind of accounts for some of the months of what you'd call a year. I feel like it's only spent about 9 to 10 months in Pisces, like it flew through Pisces in a rush, which is really weird, because traditionally speaking, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter loves to be in Pisces. I could really get into how deep that is, but it's left and it's gone, it's done. That is what it is. So now we're in Aries and we're leading and we're driving the charge, because this is what Aries is about. So Jupiter is about expansion, it's about making things bigger, it's about philosophy, it's about belief, I guess. Foreign languages, foreign people, experiences, publishing, a lot of things Jupiter is basically connected to. Because Jupiter kind of is connected to and represents the mighty Zeus, the king of the gods. So yeah, also rules Sagittarius, by the way, and still in modern astrology rules Sagittarius. So Pisces and Sagittarius are places So yeah, Pisces and Sagittarius are places where Jupiter is very comfortable and is in charge, essentially. Jupiter has moved from its comfort zone of home into its new destination of Aries. I don't think it's doing too bad there. But strangely enough, actually, what we call a dispositor, geeky again, basically the ruler of the sign. So Mars rules Aries, and Mars is actually still in Pisces with Neptune, which modern terms, because Neptune basically wasn't discovered till we got telescopes and we could see in cameras, very 12th house stuff, like 1846 and beyond, around that stuff, that time. Basically, yeah, Mars, the ruler of Aries, just so you can stay on track with what I'm thinking, and how I said Jupiter was in Aries. So Jupiter's in Aries, and it's basically responding to what Mars is doing in some sense, and Mars is still in Pisces with another ruler of Pisces, which is Neptune. This is why it's a very, very, very special, and that's why I put all those varies as well, because it is literally that big. Very, 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 very special moment in time when you had Jupiter and Neptune meet up a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so now, in Pisces together, because it only happens every, I don't know, 300, 200, big number of years, lifetimes, basically, centuries, together in what is known as their ruling sign. I think the other one you could compare would be Saturn and Uranus joining up in Aquarius. Not sure what the frequency is. Probably guessing it's something mad like 200. That's mad numbers. And then because they both basically rule Aquarius. One's the modern ruler, one's the traditional ruler. And then the other sign that has dual rulership is Scorpio. So if Pluto and Mars were to meet together in Scorpio, which actually did happen several times through the 80s, I believe. That's a very significant moment happening as well. That will only happen every 300 years, basically, like 250 years to get round the track, and then Mars to meet it a couple of times through that stay. So yeah, 270 odd years. What I'm trying to say there is these things do not happen often. They are really, really significant in terms of astrology from, let's say, tropical astrologers' point of view. If we go into the science, they'll basically be saying that, oh yeah, it's in the sign behind it. This is Vedic sidereal astrology, which I actually like and find relevance in, but that's another technical thing. Now, it sounds like I'm going off the track, but the geeks can stay with me and the laymen are just like, what the hell is he talking about? But I feel like you'll absorb what you need to absorb, you take what you need to take, and you leave what you can't digest, what is not for you. And that's just what we do with everything, in all honesty. So why would my information be any different? Like I said, I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm just enjoying myself, expressing myself, not thinking too much about everything and anything. Because what happens when you have Mercury in Gemini, the sign where it's also in its rulership, so yeah, Mercury rules Gemini as well as Virgo, Mercury becomes stronger, and Mercury deals with thinking, talking and communication, so that becomes more apparent. But when retrograde, it turns inwards, the energy. It can confuse the communication. So basically me not scripting this and freestyling it. And if you understood astrology, seeing Mercury in 12th house is kind of like a clouded, not scripted place, no boundaries. It's got the Pisces energy. So if I see the Mercury in the 12th house, you can also think it's somebody that works behind the scenes. That's one way to look at it. Or someone that communicates secretly, but also could be psychic and very intuitive. They could also suffer from having blind spots and self-sabotaging tendencies, maybe, because Mercury, it means your habits, and the 12th house is kind of like your blind spot as well. It's kind of like you get spiritual help and hindrance in that house, essentially. Pisces, like I say, is very spiritual. Neptune's connected to spiritualism, and Jupiter's very connected to the expansion and spiritual, kind of beyond the realms. It's all about basically realms, not this plane, not this earthly, basic, physical 2x2 knock-on wood plane. So I say all that because that's basically what Taurus energy, earth energy, pertains to. The sun is in Taurus, the North Node is in Taurus. So that could be a strong focus, basically money, sustenance, how we getting this dollar. And then the moon in Scorpio will probably deal with joint finances, loans, taxes, emergency money. All of these kind of things are very important, but joint money and other people's basically stuff, and values as well actually. So as well as money, you got like value system. So talk about like self-worth, self-esteem, but personal value system, that's the words that I'm looking for in terms of what you find valuable. So cash is one translation of value, but personal actual values, what you value, will determine what you'll pay for and what means something to you, and basically what you'll give time to. So it goes deeper than just cash. Yeah. And Venus is a lot to do with basically that particular energy. Venus rules Taurus. So when I'm talking about these planets basically having conversations with each other, there's levels to these conversations. So you've got them meeting each other, having a conversation, and then you've got them answering to the governor. So it's like basically me just checking my own words, what I say. But Gemini's at home, yeah, or at one of its home places. Uranus, potato planet, is not at home. So the boss of Taurus, ruler of Taurus, that's who Uranus has got to answer to. Now, that's Venus, as I said. Now, Venus is in Aries, and that Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is not at home yet. So everyone's answering to somebody else. You see that there's levels of conversations. Now, you see these planets are clustered together. So let's see all these ones with the red here. They're all answering to this guy, actually, that is red, Mars, that rules the sign. And Mars is in Pisces. So that's going to put a taint and a slant on everything that's in Aries. Basically, slow down the energy, because Pisces energy versus Aries energy. Pisces is more slower and dissipating energy. Aries is a rapid, bang, bang, go, go, fire energy. So, like I say, there's levels and levels and layers to reading it. This is why I told you it's a very unique art. That's something I really enjoy doing. So this moon in Scorpio, really interesting facet, because that's it. The moon in Scorpio on a very traditional, astrology level. It's gone way deeper than I ever planned to go, but welcome to Scorpio moonness. We don't go by a half, we go by it all, we go in with the soul, we want the whole depth. Should know this due to my own kind of placements and understanding the Scorpio and 8th house energy. So, as I was saying, with this moon in Scorpio, that's possibly explaining, one, why I'm going in so deeply, but two, what I was trying to say about in terms of rulership. So this guy is not at home, the moon's not at home. The moon actually rules Cancer, yeah? The 6 and the 9. The mother and the child, parent and child, whatever you want to call it. So, Cancer is in Scorpio, this little blue symbol here, because the one there is intercepted. Cancer in the moon in Scorpio, I should say, is basically not very comfortable. It actually doesn't like Capricorn or Scorpio, because Scorpio is what we call the fall of the moon, and Capricorn is the detriment, and Cancer is the domicile. These are technical terms basically for home, away, and bogey team. Yo, this is why you gotta rock with me, man, because I didn't even think of that. Well, sorry, I just thought of that off the top, innit? Check man's video just going on, but if you're into astrology or whatever, I'll do this in bits in it, because I could go on about all this stuff, but it's a lot. But yeah, home team, which is the sign that basically the planet rules, so that's like a home base place where the planets are comfortable, works really strong. So the planets that are in its home signs here are Mercury, and Saturn's in its home sign. So Mercury and Saturn are strong in this chart, giving them extra influence. Mercury's retrograde though, Saturn isn't retrograde, so Saturn's going to be a strong player. Moon is actually in its bogey team location, place where it really doesn't like to be. You could say Mars in Pisces is kind of like a bit of a bogey team position. Neptune, that's its home team. Jupiter has just left its home team sign now, going away, but I don't think it's doing too badly over here. Because Neptune also, basically Jupiter also rules a fire sign, Sagittarius. It's got a kind of fiery, expansive energy to it. Aries is a fire sign, so the sun relation with the two. So I can see Jupiter doing bits there, as we say. The sun in Taurus, so the sun rules a fire sign. Taurus is, I don't think it's too bad for the sun. Maybe not its place where it shines the most, but it definitely doing bits. Especially next to the North Node, what we have here, which is basically what creates the eclipse effect. It's the alignment of the Earth in relation to the sun and the moon for the technical geeks. Hey. So yeah, sun in Taurus is that's pretty cool. Uranus in Taurus seems like a foreign concept to me. But it only happens once every 70/80 years. Uranus rules Aquarius. If we're going to give it any kind of home base, it's a bit of an alien in our reality. We call it the alien planet, discovered in 1781. We call it other things as well, but it kind of deals with science and science technology and all that kind of thing. So that rules the Aquarius signs at home there. And it's hard to say where Uranus's bogey team is because it's kind of like a bogey planet. I'm just giving myself joke, man. I told you, man. Like, the best videos for me are the fun in the creation and the art and getting back into it is enjoying it. If you get too serious about this, then it's like, you know, you can phone me up if you want the serious talk. And then who else is doing what here? Pluto is in Capricorn. I feel like that's not a bad place for Pluto, really, considering how Pluto likes to get down, which is be in charge in a big way, kind of like real, like final boss control. And Capricorn is about boundaries and structures and control. I mean, yeah, it could be ruining the old Capricornian structures. And then rules Capricorn, is in Aquarius, another place where it rules, but Aquarius is about moving things onwards. Capricorn's about maintaining them as they were. So yeah, structures are being destroyed and rebuilt, hence the present time and climate that we're in, if you want to translate what's going on there with the astrology. So Pluto's doing its bits there. And then what else is on the screen to assess? So Venus is in Aries. I would say that's not a happy place for Venus, if we're going to be truthful, because it rules its home team, it's Taurus basically, its other home team is Libra. So the position, like when it's just one off its home team, it's kind of like out of breath, man. Let me get back to the gaff. But yo, that's the one, you know, when you're nearly home. That's what like the last sign is, yeah. Like, like is it a fall or a detriment position? It's kind of like, even if it's not a technical fall or a detriment position, can it be one sign from home? It's kind of like a sub one, if you get what I mean. So it's not quite there, but it's nearly there. But so yeah, that feeling when you're at the gaff but you're not quite in the keys, or you need to get out the car and the gate, and that's what I feel like a planet close to the sign, what Mars is doing basically, before getting into Aries. That's the kind of effect that it is. It's like you're nearly there, you're kind of eager, especially once it gets to like 28, 29 degrees. Then it's 0 degrees into the next sign. And I'm just basically relating it to feelings that people can relate to, the analogies. Right, people, anyway, I'm going to tie it up, because I didn't want to go on too long, and I've gone on quite a bit. I've had some good fun. You're lucky you didn't get the karaoke out of me, that I was going to actually do, just to raise my own spirits and energy. But yeah, if you want to get down with me, esync444@gmail.com. It'll be in the description, I'm sure. And basically, yeah, you want your chart readings done, I do that. I love doing that. I can do that in several layers and fashions. Like, you can see that I really do it. So, you know, numerology can be added into it. I might even do tarot cards if that's really something that you really want. But yeah, I will be using basically a combination of the things that I've learned in the arts of, like, you know, what I see and how to basically best translate and interpret that information to you in this art skill that is astrology. Right, people, signing out, man. Really love the ting. Just being really like informal art, and you know what, it's my channel, and that's how I felt today. So good luck with the eclipse, and we'll see you soon. Much love to everybody. Peace and all.